The American quarter horse owes a lot to the right kind of thoroughbred. Azure Te, in the vernacular of old-school horsemen, was the right kind of thoroughbred. His blood improved the quarter horse. With his first crop of quarter horses, Azure Te placed 2 finalists in the 1971 All-American Futurity, including fastest qualifier Come 6, who ended the season as champion freshman gelding. By the time of his death in 1983, Azure Te was the all-time leading thoroughbred sire of racing American quarter horses, a title he had held for nearly a decade. Scott Wells wrote of the stallion in a 1983 article, quote, "This freshman sire with a difficult-to-pronounce name has managed to capture the attention of serious breeders." Bred by Mr. and Mrs. L.K. Shapiro of California, Azure Te was foaled in 1962, a bay son of Nashville, out of Blue 1 by Count Fleet. Racing in 1964 through 1966, the colt started 26 races at Hollywood Park and Del Mar from ages 2 through 4, when he bowed a tendon and was retired. Earning nearly $120,000 and winning 10 of those races, Wells wrote, "Indeed, from gate to wire, he was the finest sprinter on the West Coast." The stallion had the conformation to match his speed. At more than 1,100 pounds compacted into 15.2 hands of athletic power, Azure Te possessed the body and heavy muscles so sought after in quarter horses. "He had the biggest inside gasket I had ever seen on a horse," said Wells's father, Ted Wells Jr., who for 16 seasons stood the horse on his ranch in Oklahoma. What's more, Azure Te passed both conformation and ability to offspring such as Come 6, 12-5, Azure Request, Band of Azure, Coming Forth, and many others. In 1968, Azure Te was purchased by a syndicate managed by J. Pumphrey of Fort Worth. Pumphrey was the general manager of Burnett Ranches, which also was a syndicate member, as was Ted. "My dad and Ted saw eye to eye on horses," says John Pumphrey. "If they saw a horse they liked, odds were they were going to try to do something with it." Dad was looking for a thoroughbred outcross for quarter horses, and Azure Te looked like a quarter horse. He had the conformation, the speed, and a good disposition. What they did was make him the first truly syndicated stallion in the quarter horse industry. Azure Te sired 842 starters from 1,085 foals in 18 crops, including 6 champions, stakes, and other winners, and the earners of nearly $7 million. Azure Te's ultimate influence on the breed has been on the dam side, through daughters, granddaughters, and further generations. A prime example is champion Corona Chick, out of a mare by Azure Te's son, Sizzle Te. Azure Te was euthanized at age 21 in November 1983. The stallion was buried in a marked grave on the Wells Ranch. However, the real monument to his achievements will not be the inscription on a piece of marble, Scott wrote at the time of the stallion's death. The real epitaph of Azure Te is in the record books and on the racetracks of the quarter racing industry. There, his name and influence will live on.